Welcome to another Coil Chat, and today I really want to talk about the Chrisleys, like Todd and Julie Chrisley. So you know who they are, you know what they got arrested for, you can understand the pardon that was just happened by Donald Trump. But then I got a lot of questions on my video about why did they get a pardon? What is the presidential power of a pardon? So I wanted to go over that. So if you don't know, Todd and Julie Chrisley are reality TV stars, and they're best known for their show Chrisleys Know Best, which followed their wealthy Southern lifestyle. And the show aired on USA Network and ran for 10 seasons. Todd was portrayed as a flashy, controlling patriarch, and the family became famous for their over-the-top lifestyle and Christian values. I mean, if you like the show Schitt's Creek, I think that a lot of the ideas came from the real life reality of the Chrisleys. But then we also know that with these reality shows, a lot of it's not actually reality anyways. They're scripted. The producers are telling them what to do, but they really, garnered, my attention in 2022 because Todd and Julie Chrisley were convicted of federal crimes, including bank fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the IRS, and tax evasion. When you're making all this money on TV and through these sponsorships and social media and everything you're doing, you clearly are making a lot of money and you want to do things to reduce your taxes, right? That's understandable, but they took it to the point where they were trying to defraud the government from paying actual taxes. I mean, think Martha Stewart. She did the same thing and she was arrested. So what they did, they falsified financial statements to obtain over $30 million in fraudulent loans from banks. When you want to get a loan from a bank, you have to fill out what is called a personal finance statement, and then you have to specifically sign it. Well, they falsified financial statements so that they then could get these loans. They used the money to finance their luxury lifestyle, which just tells you that they weren't making as much money as everybody thought through their actual, reality show. And they then later tried to hide money from the IRS when they made millions from their TV show. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison and Julie was sentenced to 7 years. They fought it all along. They asked the court to reduce their sentencing a couple times. And in fact, it actually was reduced. They were actually able to reduce their sentences by a couple years. And they've, been serving a prison sentence since. As you may know, in May 2025, President Donald Trump announced that he had pardoned both Todd and Julie Chrisley. And this doesn't just reduce their sentence. It wipes it out. It never even happened. Let's talk about what a presidential pardon is. Under Article 2, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, the president has the power to grant pardons and commute for federal crimes. This includes full pardons, which is complete forgiveness, commutations, which is reducing sentences, and then reprieves or amnesties. It's a powerful tool meant to offer mercy, correct injustice, or push political or social statements. And every president has been doing this. This isn't new. So the outrage shouldn't be just with President Donald Trump. It's been used as a political statement weapon, whatever you want to call it, for the last several presidents. So have other presidents used this power? Yes. And they've done it frequently. So here's some notable examples. Barack Obama commuted the sentence of Chelsea Manning. She leaked classified info. And he also pardoned many nonviolent drug offenders. That's pretty common because in some states, with Bill Clinton pushing the, 3 strikes rule and the war on drugs, it has made it so some nonviolent drug offenders got sentenced to hundreds of years in prison. So they are that's not uncommon for presidents to then pardon many nonviolent drug offenders. Now, Donald Trump, in his first term, he pardoned Joe Aparo, who was the controversial sheriff. Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, a fugitive financier, which caused major backlash. And then one of the most controversial ones is Joe Biden pardoned his son. He gave a full and unconditional pardon to his son, Hunter Biden, for all federal offenses committed between January 1st, 2014 and December 1st, 2024. This is including like these tax evasion and gun charges. This isn't just, was pardoning the Chrisleys a good or bad thing? Well, the first thing is the Chrisleys were big, huge Trump supporters. They would go to his rallies. They donated a lot of money to him. So obviously it's like, oh, you can buy your way out of prison, is what people or the critics are saying. It also sends a message that wealthy, well-known people can avoid consequences. They can undermine the faith in the justice system, and the Chrisleys have never publicly accepted responsibilities. But supporters on the other side are saying their sentence were too harsh anyways. It was a non-violent white-collar crime. They served over a year in prison already. Actually, they served over 2 now. And then the family has maintained they're innocent and claims they were unfairly targeted. Another big controversy was Donald Trump. On one of his first days of office, he pardoned all of the people that were charged and sentenced for January 6th. Again, it's very politically divided. Are we undermining the judicial system? And as a lawyer, I think yes. I do think that there's already some fragility in the justice system that a lot of people don't trust. And because of that, these pardons, which are big statements and they're in the news and people are seeing it, I absolutely do believe that it is undermining the judicial system. And, the scales of justice, Lady Justice holding the scales, are supposed to be the actors involved in the judicial system to keep it balanced. Prosecutors have to present their evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. Defense have the right to a trial. And have the right to create reasonable doubt in a jury to then, find themselves to be not guilty. And when we are using these pardons to get rid of doing some of these things, when people justify that, tax evasion, it's not that big of a deal. Well, it is, because if everybody, evaded taxes, then the country would fail. And these rich celebrities can keep fighting. They can pay, their lawyers when they say, they believe that it was too long. I've been doing this long enough that I have absolutely seen white collar criminals get 10 years, 15 years in prison. So I don't find that this sentence for the Chrisleys was out of this, world and left because they supported Donald Trump. But that's exactly what's happening right now. And it's kind of divided the country even more, which is never good. And our justice system has to stand, right? It's keeping us safe. It's enforcing laws. It's making sure that people follow the laws. And we need to make sure everybody's treated, as equally as possible, even though I know there's arguments to that. So I want to know, what do you think? Leave your comment here. And remember, every week, another Coil Chat, talk about this. If you have something you want to talk about it, make sure you message me and follow me on all my platforms at Jill Coil. Till next time.